Hello everyone. Today we'll discuss about a very small topic in chapter 2 of paper 1 of sociology, that is major theoretical strands in research methodology. Okay, so it is a very small topic. Normally you can expect maximum of 10 marks question. Normally repetitive questions are not observed from this time, but um, nevertheless we have to prepare for whatever it is. So we will go ahead and discuss this. This is a very small portion, but you should be knowing that under theoretical strands in research methodology, what are we talking about? Okay, so you have a detailed chapter about research methodology in chapter 3. In that, we'll talk in detail about research, what is research methodology, what are different methods we are following, everything we'll talk. This is something different. We'll go ahead and discuss. Okay, so research methodology and research method, these are two different terms. Okay, research, what is research? Research means something we are searching, and searching is called a research. Okay, definition of research: if you are searching and searching something, that is called a research. Or you are going to study again and again about a topic, it is called as research. Okay, so what is different between method and methodology? Methodology is a wide perspective. Okay, all the kind of methods will come under methodology, and method is a little micro concept where different methods are used, like questionnaire, samples, interview, case studies, in the survey method, census method. All these things are different methods we are using. Okay, so research methodology is a wider term given to the entire process of research, which includes specific approach and ideology. Research methods like questionnaire, samples we know, research designs are there, data we are collecting, assumptions we are making, analysis we are doing, interpretation of data is, and finally we are coming to a theory and then testing. This is the process of entire research. The research is done in all these steps. Okay, and you guys know that research we are doing both in scientific and humanistic disciplines. We do research both in scientific disciplines and then humanities discipline. But the method is almost the same, but objectivity and subjectivity will differ in both the schools differently. That also we have discussed yesterday. More, if you're staying into more humanistic view, subjectivity will be more, or your personal bias will be more indulged. Whereas in scientific view, it is very clear that maximum objectivity will try to achieve in scientific view. Okay, that also we have discussed yesterday. Okay, when in sociology, it is also guided by sociological researchers' conception that relationship between man and society is also studied through research methodologies. Okay, how we are dealing with our relationship between man and society. That means if man going and studying about society, we are also doing a research there. So that is also linked. Okay, and the first research or first link was provided by positivism. We know that. Okay, positivism was the first something which evolved because initial sociologists wanted to arrange sociology in line with natural science. So positivism provided the theoretical backing to this research methodology. Later, from after time passed, from other ideas also came from. So research methodology is enriched by different researchers. Like now we have positivism, non-positivism, interpretatives, functionalist, critical, feminist, postmodernist. So a lot of schools are there in research. Okay, everybody is using different research methodology, but everybody is doing a research. Okay, so research methodology and different theoretical strands are very much important for us to understand how it is happening. While a positivist researcher will lean more towards quantitative techniques, we know that positivism is more towards measurable, empiricism, naturalism, inductivism, all these things positivism is leading to. But a non-positive researcher will incline towards qualitative method. This also we have discussed yesterday. Now, let me give you a small diagram. Okay, this we can copy. Sociological approaches. Okay, you can write the heading as major theoretical strands in research methodology. Under this, we can keep this diagram. Okay, this is find in almost all sociology textbooks. So we could not afford to avoid this. We should be knowing this diagram. Whether you're using it or not as a diagram, it is depending upon our situation and question. But you should be knowing. Okay, under this heading, the concept is this. Okay, so under sociological approaches, we know to divide into two things, that is positivism and non-positivism. positivism, non-positivism. These all things we know, okay? And positivism is more towards macro perspective because we are dealing with society. And non-positivism is more towards micro thing because we may be dealing with the individual or individual phenomena we'll be dealing, okay? That is different. Then in positivism and under macro, we have different concepts like functionalism or functionalist perspective. We have conflict school, okay? And under micro, we have, yesterday we have studied enough, okay? We have studied interpretative sociology, interpretative. Then we studied about phenomenology. When we studied about ethnomethodology, all these things we have studied, okay? This also we know. And if you want, you can write thinkers, you can link thinkers when you write. For example, conflict, you can write Karl Marx. Okay, those who are not gone through the thinkers chapter, we'll deal with this. You can just keep writing this and later on you will get to know. And one more thing, when we are discussing about scope of sociology, also I have told you, we are just trying to analyze the things now. And once you are done with entire syllabus, or at least once you're done with chapter 4 of thinkers, you'll be very much in a higher situation to write answers of yourselves. That time, whatever answers I have given you will not be even matter also. Okay, even this topic is also in that perspective. That is theoretical strands. You will be able to write an answer of yourself in a very much better position after completing the syllabus. But for the time being, you can keep this note. Okay. And functionalist, who is functionalist? We know Durkheim was a functionalist. Okay. Then interpretative sociology. Yesterday we spoke about this thing, Mead. Okay. And phenomenology, who introduced phenomenology? Yesterday we were talking, Alfred Schultz introduced phenomenology, and ethnomethodology, Harold Garfinger have introduced ethnomethodology. Okay. So all these things you can try to code these thinkers and just keep this connotation ready, that as soon as you see if the question is talking about theoretical strands in research methodology, little bit you talk about research. But what is research, different types of research, everything, little notes are given in the PDF of this itself. Otherwise, chapter 3 will deal in detail and start writing about what are different strands we have. We can start with positivism. Then we can say that it is in between. It comes to interactionism, and then it moves to non-positivism, and different directions you can write according to the question. Okay, now this is about the syllabus understanding. Now, if you are trying to analyze from a more wider perspective, I can give you little more information. Okay, something like you can talk about emergence of sociology first. Okay, sociology emerged in response to challenges posed before modernity in medieval Europe. Initial sociologists wanted to align sociology in line with natural science. You can write. Okay, then we can make it as scientific and humanistic. Okay, we can start talking by saying that in research methodology or in sociological research, these two differentiation is there. Okay, one branch moving towards scientific path and one branch always moves towards humanistic. And finally, we can conclude by saying that nowadays, what's the trend? People from Pass and Merton, from that trend till now, we are just mixing and using depending upon our need and situation requirement. We are doing it. Okay. Now, scientific, we know very clearly. First one is positivism. Scientific method, we are using positivism, and humanistic method, we are using non-positivism. Okay, that also we know. Then positivism, more towards external reality. Okay, this we have discussed. It is dealing with external reality. Non-positivism dealing with internal reality. Internal reality means feeling, meaning attached by the actor to his action according to Weber. And it's like feeling, emotions, love, hatred, all these things are there. Okay. Actually, this concept of internal reality we can say that origin is there from Weber itself. Okay. Origin we can relate it to Weber. And he was like studying social action. He said that sociology is studying social action. We have to understand the meanings attached by the actor to his action. Okay, this is about the internal reality. Depending upon the marks and the space, you can fill the answer. Okay, then we can talk about, so first one was about positivism, second one was about external reality, Third one, obviously, we can talk about the macro perspective. We can say that it deals with society, okay, more into society as a whole, and non-humanistic or non-positivism is dealing with micro perspective. Okay, then we can say that there are theory building and testing is possible in positivism. Yesterday we have written the same thing. It is even distant dream, not even possible. Forget about that. So what you have to do, you can just understand. Okay, theory building and possible may be possible in humanistic point of view, but it have certain limitation, because we have yesterday we have discussed saying that subjectivity will be more there. Okay, that means, for example, we were talking about ethnomethodology. So we were saying that accident is happening, we are going and taking accounts of people. Okay, when we are taking accounts, it is different person is giving their own point of view. It is highly subjective. So even if you try to make a humanistic theory or a theory with respect to non-positivism, you cannot say that it is applicable entirely. Macro perspective, we cannot subject to. You can say only micro thing. Depending upon different situations, subjectively the theory is possible. And testing is also very different. Every time you will get a different result if you start testing the theories in non-positivism. Okay. Then very important thing is inductive approach. Okay, positivism is more towards inductive approach. So what will be non-positivism? Towards deductive approach. Okay. Now, what are we doing in inductive and what are we doing in deductive approach? Okay, this if step by step, this I have not given you till now. We were telling in words only what is inductivism means. We are trying some research and finally we are coming to an answer. And deductivism, we are deducing it. That means we already know the theory and we are finding the way how it is reaching to the theory. So there are certain steps when we are doing inductive. This is the new information you have to add here. Steps first will be selection of topic. Okay, selection of topic. In research methodology, we'll study everything in detail, but you guys have to even talk here also. Selection of topic means here some kind of subjectivity will be attached. Okay, even though we're talking in positivism, a person who is going to study about sociology or society, he will be selecting a topic depending upon his biasness or depending upon his thought process. He will start linking his interest towards the topic and he'll select that topic. For example, if a feminist sociologist is going to do a research, obviously she will pick topics or subject which is more lenient towards feminism or some threats towards women. So she will select all these things. So same thing. For example, if Buddhist in Ladakh is taking a topic, if there are minorities there, or if we are doing there are no minorities, means before they were minorities, now union territory they are not the same. So before in situation they were like minorities in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. When we are they are taking, they can take. So if a Buddhist is taking in Ladakh a study with respect to society or sociology, he will start thinking from his point of view what all problems they were going through. They didn't have proper representations. They had different problems. Their problems were not subject to whatever solution. So all these things, will be in that person's mind. So all these things will be biased when he take a decision. Okay, so selection of topic, obviously some level of biasness will come. Okay, even though it is positivism, it is unavoidable. Okay, you can talk about that feminist. Okay, all these things, minorities you can talk about. Then second one is collection of data. Collection of data. How are you collecting data? Okay, in collection of data, we can talk about different methods we can use to collect data. Like we can use questionnaire, we can do interview method, we can take samples from people, we can do a survey method, we can do an analysis, we can do a whatever from articles we can take data. So all these things are different types of data collection. This also we'll study in third chapter. Okay, don't worry about that. Then after collecting data, normally what a researcher will do, he will try to analyze the data. Okay, that means interpretation. Okay, interpretation will be done. Okay, from whatever data the person have collected, the person will start observing or trying to analyze something. What does this data says? Okay, for example, if you're talking about the Ladakh Buddhist cases, the whatever data the person have collected, if he's from that state, he will be more lenient towards that. He'll be more attached to the problems. He'll be knowing in clear what are the problems they face. Then he will collect everything to represent in a proper way. Okay. So analyze, interpretation of data is done. And finally, he will come to a theory. Okay. He'll finalize saying that this is this and this is this. He'll come to a theory. And obviously, because scientific discipline, testing is possible. We'll come to a testing thing. These all things are we are doing in inductive approach, or different steps we are doing in inductive approach. So what are things? We do a selection of topic. In that, some biasness will be there. Then we come to collection of data. There, the person can be trained enough. Investigator can be trained enough so that he will not get biased. That can be possible. And even analysis, interpretation of data, obviously we can use scientific methods. In nowadays, science and technology is so developed that you just give the data, you will get final research or analysis in the form of pie charts, diagrams, data flows, everything you will get it. Okay, it is very easy now. And theory building, and then we do a testing. Okay, and here the concept of organized skepticism we were discussing last class, and that is also possible. Okay, just you can note it. Okay. Then in the scientific methodology, 7th point you can write, it is quantifiable. This also we know, it is everything is quantifiable. Whatever measure, whatever we are able to observe through a census, whatever things we can measure, we'll be adding in this. And this functionalism, for example, you can write. Functionalism is a different branch of this. Example, Durkheim was functionalist. He was more lenient towards functionalist perspective. What is functionalist perspective? What do you mean by, if I'm saying that a thinker is functionalist, what do you mean by that? Functionalist means he or she observes that whatever he is seeing in society has a function. Because of that only it exists. All institutions, all problems, all positives, all negatives exist in society because they have certain functions to perform. Unless they will not be existing. That is what functionalist perspective. For them, suicide also have a function, rape also have a function, religion have a function, family have a function, everything have a function. And people may not be agreeing to all these things, but according to their perspective, all social structures or existence in society have a function. That is why they are called functionalist. Okay. Now we'll move to non-positivism or humanistic point of view. Non-positivism means internal reality we have spoken. For example, you can quote Weber. Then we said it is micro perspective. We are more into individual level we are dealing with things, and theory and testing, distant reality, forget about that. We can only understand things. We cannot make theory, and testing is not at all possible. Why? Because you will not get the same result every time when you test. Okay. Then a deductive approach. Okay. Now what is deductive approach? Deductive approach means you are deducing it. Okay. Deducing means already you know the result and you're trying to reach there. Okay. That is first, you will be first only you are making a theory. Okay. Then trying to prove that. Then trying to prove that. The first 3 chapters, you should be very clear with the concept of inductivism and deductivism. Okay. This is about the deductive approach. Okay. Then we can speak saying that qualitative. Here we have quantitative, so opposite we can say qualitative. Okay. And functionalism, if you are quoting, you can quote here conflict perspective. Who is given conflict perspective? Karl Marx have given conflict perspective. Okay. This is what you can write with respect to this theoretical strands in research methodology. Okay. I'll repeat once again. In theoretical strands, we are talking about how sociology is dealing with different branches of theory building in different research methodology. How are we including it? Okay, we are saying that mainly we have 2 schools, that scientific and humanistic. It is positivism and non-positivism. Positivism dealing with external reality, non-positivism internal reality, macro, micro concept, theory building, testing possible. There it is only understanding is possible. Then we come to inductive approach. Then we went to deductive approach. What is inductive approach? Selection of a topic is done. Some kind of biases will be there. Then we are collecting the data. We are trying to analyze the data, coming to a theory, testing it. Deductive approach, you already know the theory, or you already know the conclusion. That means you're just deducing it. First itself theory is ready. Then you're trying to prove that. Okay. Then we have quantifiable. There it is qualifiable. Example, functionalism here. Example, Durkheim you can quote, and conflict perspective, Karl Marx you can quote. Okay, this is just a skeleton of the answer. Once you're done with the syllabus, you'll be very much situation that you can write answer of your own. But to start, to have a confidence, you can keep the structure. Okay. Now let's get into the PDF. Okay. Theoretical strands in methodology. Okay. For a discipline to be scientific, research methodology, sorry. Yeah. For a discipline to be scientific, a distinct methodology constituting of the perspectives and the methods is required. Okay, that means we are talking about positivism. If something have to be scientific, a distinct methodology is required, and this certain perspectives are also required. Okay, the first diagram we have written, same diagram we are talking about. Since its emergence and subsequent broadening of its scope, new methodologies have been integrated in sociology. This has generated a vast school of varying and quite often contradictory theoretical strands in sociology, because nowadays more concepts are coming, more methods are coming. Now it almost like contradicting, quite often contradicting, but we are mixing and using it. Okay. Fundamentals of research methodology. Methodology is a broad term relating to whole question of how to study. Methodology means what? How are you going to study this theory? More specifically, it is understood as a science of methods. Which method I'm using it? The question how to study starts with the basic problem is what to study. That's a part of how to study. That means first you should be knowing how to study. Before that only you should be knowing what to study. First you select in the topic. That is the answer for what to study. Then you're selecting a method. Either you're using a scientific method or a humanistic method. That is the method. That is how to study's answer. Okay. This is followed by definition of the problem and subsequently a larger number of elements including data collection, interpretation, theory building, checking reliability and validity. This topic also we'll cover in third chapter. All these elements are incorporated in particular manner as per the methodological approach used by the investigator. Research design is a framework, a blueprint for the research study which guides the collection and analysis of data. This is an important thing. This also we repeat in third chapter. What do you mean by research design? It is actually a blueprint. Okay, it's a framework. When a researcher is doing a research, first we will make a topic. Then he will make a synopsis of what he is going to do. Okay, then he will make a research design and he will submit the research design to the scholar which he is attached for the research, and he'll get an approval. And normally that is the process of academically doing research. Okay, so same thing. Research design means what all things you are going to do. Blueprint of your entire research study is called research design. Okay, that will guide the collection analysis of data. Everything will be guided by this research design. So first only, what should you have? You should have a proposal or a research design to start a research. Okay, following are the broad steps in research design and associated challenges in sociology. Choice of topic and problem definition. Weber said that values can be tolerated at this level. Okay, Weber said that when I also told you in inductive approach, when you're selecting the topic, biasness will come. Okay, to a certain limit we can stop it, but it will be there. Accumulation of facts. Here also choice of method is required, primary or secondary. What do you mean by primary or secondary? Primary means facts which you are collecting yourself, fresh data. Okay, nobody is collected, you are just going and collecting for the first time. What do you mean by secondary? It is already there. These data are called secondary data. This also we'll study in the next chapter. So many of these methods like interviewing also suffer from subjectivity. The concept of interviewing, how will suffer from subjectivity? What do you mean by subjectivity? That means it will be biased. Okay, it is not free from personal bias. Some leniency will be there. For example, if an interview is happening, if for example a board is there and a person is sitting there, and if the person or chairman of the board, if he is biased towards certain things or his concept is different, he'll be questioning in the same way. Okay, and same thing, a person who is giving the answer back, that is interviewee also, what he will do, he will also reply according to his perspective. So it will be subjective. Okay, neutrally a conversation will not happen. I'll be talking to you guys something based upon my understanding of sociology, and you will be hearing or you will be asking doubt based upon your understanding. So it is a give and take policy, highly subjective. Okay, representation of facts. It can also be colored by various viewpoints. Hypothesis making, I will deal with this in the next chapter, and formulation of theories happen. It is also colored by investigators' viewpoints. Weber and Marx viewed the phenomenon of class differently. Okay, this also will deal in thinkers chapter, how Weber have seen class and how Marx have seen class. And testability, there is also a limit on testability. Okay, all these things are the problems we are doing when we are doing a research in sociology, associated challenges when we are doing sociology. Okay, at every step methods are used, and thus methodology require a very broad connotation in terms of its scope. Methodology in sociology has developed various theoretical strands which are quite often seen in dichotomous terms. That means what? Every time it will be contradicting, and we will not get a clear picture. That is why later sociologists or modern sociologists, what are they doing? They are mixing and using the technique. Okay, therefore, if one is not happening, obviously the other option is there. We are not only in a perspective that I will stick only to positivism or I'll do only non-positive method. No, nowadays it is depending upon situation we are using it. Okay, at every step methods are used, and this methodology, okay, different perspectives are used. Okay, various perspectives influence the choice of methods relating to different stages of investigation. I just discussed with you. At various perspectives are influenced when choice of methods relating to different stages of investigation. When a person is doing an investigation, depending upon his situation, depending upon the researcher's perspective, he will opt for the methods. Or for example, if a person who like to do field work, okay, maybe the person will be going to villages or going to people and then collect data. What method I will select? I will select survey method, because that's the best method I can. My bias is there because I like to go out and do things, field work I like. That is why I've taken survey method. Okay, same different thing. If I don't like to go out, but I'm doing a research, I need some data society. What will I do? I will do questionnaire method. That means I'll just mail questionnaire to people, and sitting at home I'll get all the data. So depending upon my preferences, I am doing it. That same thing, where choice of methods will be depending upon the perspective, depending upon different stages of investigation. Initially, two broad perspectives, positivism and non-positivism, were popular. Apart from this, various perspectives like evolutionary perspective is there, functional perspective is there, conflict, structural functionalism, all these things were added and used in methodology. And we can add example from thinkers here. Okay, now I'm not saying, because once you study thinkers, you can add yourself. A broad dichotomy of micro and macro has always been guiding methodology since its emergence, but differ in terms of reference point or locus of analysis. Micro approach is more interested in the internal aspects, whereas macro approach studies external. This also we have learned, internal and external thing, micro, macro. And there is, you can add Weber, Durkheim, all these examples you can add here. Okay. Then quantitative and qualitative methods. Okay. There's nothing to talk here, but still we'll read. There are two different types frequently used to choose methods as per the requirements of research design. Quantitative methods generate numerical data. Quantitative means what? Whatever we can quantify, numerical data. On the other hand, qualitative means we generate textual data. Okay, that means subjective. It is more descriptive form. Okay, descriptive form. With this, within quantitative and qualitative methods, there are various techniques of data collection like interpretation, theory building, and testing. While a positivist researcher will lean more towards quantitative things. This also we have written, positivism, more quantitative techniques, and non-positive where he will lean, he will more incline towards qualitative methods. More often than not, mixed methods are now used. This also I have told you, we are using mixed methods now. Quantitative methods include methods like statistical method, data tables, etc. And qualitative methods, on the other hand, include interview, content analysis, questionnaire, all these things are used. Okay. The dichotomy of inductive and deductive approaches, this I don't want to talk because enough we have spoken today about inductivism and deductivism. Differences we know. Okay. Object subjectivity also we have discussed. What is objectivity? Freedom from personal bias. Subjectivity means bias is included. That is also a problem. Then scientific and humanistic approach also. This is the conclusion you can conclude. Thus, broadly, various theoretical strands exist in methodology, which are nowadays seen more as complementary rather than contradictory. Before it was dichotomy was there. Now it is more complementary rather than contradictory. Researchers nowadays prefer mixed approaches. Okay, please note this one. Rather than following theoretical purity of methodology, postmodern methodology emphasis more on purpose and more liberal in terms of use of methods. Actually, we don't stick to I will use only this school, I will use this method. No. Okay. Depending upon the purpose, I will use different types of methods. Okay. Now, in this PDF, research methods division is a given that you can read yourself. Okay. Not relevant to discuss now. Okay. You can just read it for an information. That's it. Okay. That's it about research theoretical strands. If you have any doubt, you can ask.
Ma'am, one doubt.
Yeah.
Ma'am, this qualitative method means it is like statistical data, like Durkheim using. So that
No.
is.
No. Qualitative methods means not statistical. Quantitative method is statistical. Qualitative means internal meanings. Okay, whatever in text I can write and express. I cannot measure. Qualitative example is love, hate, etc. I cannot measure how much I love my children or how much I love my parents, right? I cannot measure.
Okay.
So hope this is fine.